Hey, welcome back for another week of Chasing the Wild, the only YouTube channel where you can get all your up-to-date hunting, fishing, and outdoor news. Make sure you guys stay to the end so you can find out the upcoming big game hunting draws for the west and northern states. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right into the episode. For our first story this week, it's actually about a new product being released, and it's one that's not like anything, at least that I've ever heard of. It's an arrow-launching rifle. That's right, it's not a crossbow. It's actually black powder propellant-powered rifle that shoots arrows out of it. It's produced by a company called Traditions Firearms, and the model is going to be called the Crackshot XBR. The way it's actually going to work is that, much like a traditional black powder, it takes a 27 caliber black powder blank, except that you load an arrow through the muzzle instead of your actual bullet. It's actually got two different barrels inside. It's got an inner barrel, and then around that is sleeved with another barrel. What you do is you take your arrow, which is actually hollow at one end, you load it into the muzzle, it slides over the first barrel that's on the inside, and that's what actually locks it into place before you fire it. They're saying that it's going to get 380 feet per second, and it's going to be rated out to 70 yards. I'm not really sure what the advantage is over a crossbow. I'm pretty sure crossbows go just as far, just as fast. And I'm not really sure how this is going to play out for any of the states that have an archery season. I'm not sure if this will count as archery or if this will count as black powder. Maybe it's just upping the difficulty during black powder season more than it already is. I have a hard time believing that it will be legal during archery season, but who knows? It's produced by Traditions Firearms. It's going to have an MSRP of $449 for an all-black model and $499 for either a Realtree or I believe it was Cryptek camouflage model. Something I've never heard of. Let me guys know what you think about it. Alright, our next news story actually comes out of Oregon. Much like the story that I reported on last week, they're going to be reducing their upcoming deer and elk tags. This week they're actually giving us a reason why they're doing it, not like Utah last week. They're saying that it's to prevent a disease called AHD. It's primarily passed nose to nose between animals, and it's most prevalent in deer, obviously, but it's almost always fatal. And apparently that's affected the population a lot more than they expected this past year. They're reducing the tags for bucks down to, they're reducing it by 3,953 buck tags, 287 antlerless deer tags, and then they're also going to be reducing the elk tags down to 670 elk tags. That's a lot of tags, and like I said, Utah already just did this. Hopefully, this is not going to be a trend amongst the western states, at least. Hopefully, not amongst any of the states. A lot of people put in for a lot of tags, so what they've done to resolve the issue, and they've released on which tags are actually getting dropped. It's not just a blanket all tags being dropped. There's specific units that they're dropping them in, so you still have till May 15th to to put in for the draw if you would like one of those tags. And then even if you already put in for your tags, you actually have until June 1st to change your tags, and make sure you give that a check and redistribute maybe your choices based on your probability of getting those tags, because it's probably changed since you last saw it. Alright, and our last news story, also out of Oregon, is about a bighorn ram that was poached out of Oregon. Authorities are offering a $10,000 reward to any tip that leads to the capture of the poacher. It was actually originally set at $1,000, but through fundraising they were managed to raise a pot for $10,000 to any tips that led to arrest of the poacher. Personally, for a bighorn ram, $10,000 actually seems like kind of a low reward leading to the capture of somebody who poached one, but hopefully they do end up actually catching the guy who poached it, because that's a once-in-a-lifetime tag for a lot of people, and the fact that somebody's just taking it on themselves to go ahead and harvest one of these animals illegally just really spits in the face of a lot of hunters and wildlife conservationists, because bighorn sheep are very rare. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the news for this week. Before we go, let's go ahead and go over the big game draws that are coming up in this next week. First, we got on the 24th of April, we got the Kansas deer deadline. Then in Idaho on April 30th, we have the sheep, moose, and goat deadline. Next, in Kentucky actually, on April 30th is the elk deadline. And finally, on the 1st of May, will be the Montana sheep, moose, goat, and bison tag. So make sure, again, that you set aside your funds, talk to your family, and get ready to put in for those big game tags, or at least get in for the points on some of those states. All right, guys, before we go, again, my name is Chase. This is Chasing the Wild, the only YouTube channel where you can get all your up-to-date hunting, fishing, and outdoor news. Please subscribe down below if you like what you're seeing. Give us a like if you like this video. Check out our Facebook page. It's 3 Dudes Outdoors, and we also have an Instagram. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.